Good afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am Jeffgrantmedia. In today's real user review, we're going to be talking about the iHood heated vest. Now, right up top, as always, the disclaimer. iHood did reach out to me, asked me if I want to take a look at some of the products. I said yes, so they sent me this vest and a jacket for free to take a look at and review. But all of the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I did not share this content with iHood prior to publication. They will see this when you do. And believe me, they kept asking to see this prior to me sending this out live, and I said absolutely not. If that's the case, send me some return shipping labels and I will go ahead and just send you all of the stuff back because I am not interested in working that way. So they said, we respect your wishes, go ahead and do your review. So here we are with the iHood vest. Now, they did, again, send me the vest and a jacket. It is still not cold enough to wear a heated jacket, but some of these mornings are quite chilly. They are ranging from about 42 to sometimes about 55 at about 4:35 o'clock in the morning. So I have definitely been donning the vest and checking it out and testing it out, as well as wearing it around without turning it on, because it is essentially like a puffer vest. I don't know if it's down. It's most likely synthetic. Especially for the price point at like 150 bucks. It's most likely a synthetic insulation, but I've been wearing it just as like a down vest as well, without turning it on. And right now you can see it's not turned on because I'm inside. I don't need it on. I would be sweating to death. But let's get into this, and we're going to start with a couple of specs. The iHood heated vest comes in at $139.99 USD. The vest has 3 heating zones: the front of the vest, which includes both the chest and belly area, the back, and the hood. All 3 zones are controlled by this switch here. You control both the temperature of each individual zone and turn each individual zone on or off. We will go over all of that in a little bit. The vest comes in 3 color options: black, gray, and blue. Both the vest and jacket also came with their own individual packing cubes, and they came with their own power supply that doubles as a power bank. Now, as I said, I will go over how to operate the vest. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. Now, this button here on the left chest pocket has 4 switches. This is our 4-button switch. These 3 buttons here are the different zones of the jacket, and this bottom one will turn the light on or off, so if you're walking around at night, you're not a walking billboard. Now, to activate, you simply press and hold, and it will turn on, and you can see it lights up red. It will always light up in red, which is the warmest setting. Now, to turn it back off, again, press and hold, and it will go off. Now, the zones are: the far left side would be the chest and stomach area. The right side is going to be the back area. And the top is going to be the hood area. Now, if you want to turn the lights off if you're at night, you can simply press this bottom button here and it turns all of the lights off, so you're no longer a walking billboard. Now, all of the zones are still turned on and working, so if I press it again, you can see it lights back up to red. To change the temperature of these zones, you simply press, and you can see we turned to white. Press, will turn to white. Press, will turn to white. That is going to be the medium range. Press again, will turn to blue. Again blue, again blue, that will be the lowest range. And then finally press one more time. Each of them, it will go back to red. And if you wanted to turn an individual zone off, if your head is getting hot and you want to turn the hood off, you will press and hold. And now we only have the stomach and back zones on. Now, each of these zones can be turned on or off independently, so you can use which ones you want. So again, if you want to turn, your head's getting hot, you want to turn the hood off, you could turn that off. If your back's getting too warm, if you're wearing a backpack or something like that, you can turn the back off and just keep the chest and stomach on. So I like that this is 3 different zones and they're all operated independently, so you don't have to just turn the entire jacket on. And then if you're wearing a backpack and you're wearing the jacket and your back is getting incredibly hot because the back panel of the backpack and the back is heating up, and you just are kind of stuck with either on or off, and you're dying, and you just have to turn the whole thing off. I like that I can individually change the zones. That's pretty nice. Now, again, each of these zones has a 3 temperature range. So again, if we're on red, we are on high, and this will range from about 149 to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if we click it once and we go down to white, we are on medium, and we're going to range from about 131 to about 149 degrees Fahrenheit. And lastly, if we go down to blue, we are going to be on low, and we will range from about 122 to about 131 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the battery life of the jacket, they say ranges from about 4.5 hours to about 20 hours, depending upon the settings you have it in. But I find that that's probably not too accurate, and to better explain that, we're just gonna go ahead and cut to Jeff in the field, who actually tested out this vest in some cold temperatures.
So it's about 5 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up. My eyes aren't even fully functioning yet. And it's about 45, 46 degrees out here, and I'm wearing my iHood vest. I have all, as you can see, all zones are on right now. I'm not wearing the hood. I don't like the hood on the vest, but I am wearing all zones on because it's heating up my neck. It's a little brisk, it's a little chilly out here, and I feel okay right now. I did just leave the house, so let's get a couple blocks into the walk, get some body heat going, and see how well the vest keeps me warm as we're going. All right, let's test this thing out. Between the heat from the vest and my body heat kicking up, I'm definitely warm right now, so I cycled it down to low. I didn't turn it off, I put it on low. Let's see how I feel. Also, when we get back to my house, I'm going to check the battery. It was at 98% when we left. We've been walking for 24 minutes and 40 seconds. So let's see how well the battery lasts with about a 30-minute walk by the time we get back. We're 5 to 10 minutes away from my house, so we'll see what it's at when we finally get home. I'm with Duke the dog. We're out for our morning walk. Okay, so we are home. It was about 34 minutes of a walk total, so about 10 minutes since my last checkup. I'm trying to unzip this one-handed. So I kept it on low power the rest of the way home. So I used it for that first 24 minutes or so. We'll say 18 to 20 minutes I had it on high. It cycled down to low power or low heat at some point, and I left it there for a while to see how long it would take before it cycled back up, and it never did. And it never cycled back down to low power after that, and it hasn't cycled anything since I put it in low power. So I had about 98% battery when I started, and I have now 73% battery left at this point in time. So for a 34-minute walk, we used 25% of the battery, and I'd say a little more than half of that walk we had it in high heat, and then we cycled down to low heat. So I don't remember the overall specs, but this is supposed to last for several hours. And if we use 25% of the battery in a 35 minutes, it was like 34:40. It was almost exactly 10 minutes from when I last checked in to now. And it used 25% of the battery in about 35 minutes. So I'd say the battery life is probably not going to be nearly the specs that they put on the jacket, but we're gonna go ahead and check that and see how well it works.
So using it since then, I feel like my initial thoughts that this battery was only gonna last for maybe 2 hours tops. I think if I do rock it on low, I can definitely get like that 4.5 hours out of it, but that's if I had the vest just on low the whole time. I think I'll get the lowest battery range out of it. And they're saying it ranges from about 4.5 hours on high to about 20 hours on low. So I don't think they're very accurate at all with their battery lifespan of the jacket. And then if you wanted to use it as a battery bank, you're definitely gonna cut that 4 hours down at least in half to 2 hours, if not less. So if you plan on using this for an extended period of time to keep yourself warm, do not use this as a battery bank, and keep it on the lowest possible setting, and potentially turn that hood zone off. We'll get into that in a little bit here, because I think that that's going to help you conserve the most amount of battery, and the hood zone is kind of unnecessary altogether. So with the specs and how it operates out of the way, let's get into the actual real user review, and we're gonna go ahead and start with the negatives. And the very first negative, even with the battery bank removed, this thing is heavy. It's got some pretty heft to it. Now this is a pretty light, again, it's a puffer vest, so it's pretty light made, but it's got some weight to it, and that weight is mostly coming from, well, the switch, but a lot of it is in the hood. This hood itself is it's more of a stretchy material, and there's 2 heating pads that are on each side right about where the ears are. So I feel like this hood is just adding a little extra unnecessary weight to the vest, and honestly for 2 reasons. I don't like the way that hoods look on vests, so I aesthetically don't like the way it looks, and if I needed my head to be warm while I'm wearing a puffer vest, I'm gonna be wearing a skull cap, so I wouldn't want a hood anyway. And if I had a hood on, I would be wearing this as like a mid layer underneath a jacket that has a hood, and I'd be wearing the jacket hood. So I feel like if they just completely cut this vest or this hood out of the vest, it would cut down drastically on the weight because it's heavy even without the battery bank. Now, while we're talking about the hood, we're gonna go into the next negative, and it's, again, I don't like the aesthetics of it, but if we roll this hood up, let me take a couple seconds here, it will tuck into the collar of the jacket, and it will tuck in there, and it will zip up, and it will completely go away. So the aesthetic of it being there is it's gone. But when we do that, it makes the collar incredibly puffy. So again, we're gonna go ahead and cut to a quick Jeff in the field to talk about that. Feels like there's too much bulk when it's tucked in here. I can feel it. It's definitely bulky behind my neck, and it's very heavy that I don't think I'm really going to be using the heated hood because I wear skull caps when my head's cold. But I think that it's just gonna have too much bulk and too much weight added to it. So ultimately, 2 of my big negatives with this vest could be resolved if they just removed the hood, didn't have it. I don't think it's a needed zone for heating, so it could serve the battery life of it. And it would also cut down on both the weight and make it a little bit more comfortable to wear, because if you don't like the hood in a vest like myself and you roll it up, it makes this collar incredibly bulky and uncomfortable to wear, and I just don't like it. I found that it was very uncomfortable, so even wearing this as just a vest without it turned on, I'm leaving the hood out, otherwise it's just incredibly uncomfortable on the back of the neck. Another negative with this jacket is the pocket in which the battery bank goes in. It goes right here in the front left side, right behind the left belly pocket. So sometimes when you're trying to put this thing on, because it is a light puffer vest, it folds in and it makes it very difficult for you to actually get the jacket on. It just folds in and you're kind of searching for that hole, that sleeve to put your arm through, and you can't find it because the battery pulls the jacket down and folds it over, so it makes it incredibly difficult and frustrating to put on. A much better placement for that battery bank on this jacket, right here, right in the middle. I mean, if you put it right here, it's going to pull more in the center of the jacket, and even weigh the entire vest down a little bit better than making it kind of pull to the side. And that's going to also alleviate one of my points of note that I'll mention in a minute here, but I think that if they put it right here in the center of the back, it's going to just be that much more accessible. And the last negative that I want to talk about is something that I have already mentioned twice now, is the battery life. I do not believe that you're going to get 4.5 to 20 hours out of this battery bank. I did fully charge this, and the first time I used it, it went down 25% in about 30 minutes, and that was about half, maybe a little more than half on high, and then on low, and it still went down 25% of the battery after only 30 minutes. So the battery life is not anywhere near what they are expecting out of this thing. So definitely, if you're going to need a battery bank while you're wearing this vest, bring a separate battery bank, because you will just not be able to stay warm if you're depending upon this to keep you warm and comfortable, because the battery is not going to last very long at all if you're charging a phone or an electronic device and running the jacket. Now we're gonna go ahead and move into the points of note. And the first one is that they say this vest is washable. I didn't try it yet, but this is the plug that comes from the jacket. It has this little rubber cap that I can simply cover the USB plug, because it's just a regular standard USB that plugs into the charger, and then you tuck it into its own little pocket here, and it turns the jacket or vest on. But they say this is washable, and it does have this nice little cover here, so you could pop that over, toss it in the washing machine, and then apparently you can wash this vest and get it clean, even with the USB and all of the heating pads inside the jacket. Again, I didn't try it, but they say that it's washable. But I mean, I might give it a shot. Mine's definitely not dirty enough to throw it in the washer yet, but I might just toss it in tomorrow morning just to test it out and see if you can wash this thing and if it'll still work. Another point of note is right here in the left pocket, because the battery is right here. when you're putting it in, you can always feel it there. It's always, there's some bulk in your pocket no matter what. Even if your pockets are empty, there's always some bulk there. And it kind of like makes the vest, as I said in my negatives, it makes the vest kind of pull to that side. So I can feel the extra weight on this side of the vest. And when I put my hands in the pocket, there's bulk here that I feel like if they just put it in the back, it would make this little point of note just go away. I mean, you could deal with it. I usually keep my keys in my right pocket anyway, but I can feel this in here even with nothing in my pockets. And I find that just a little bit annoying. And then my last point of note is, if you have the vest lit up while you're walking in the dark, it does get a little bit annoying, especially if you wear glasses. I tend to see a little bit of a reflection right down here in the bottom left of my left lens. I see a little red glow and it reflects off my glasses, and I find that incredibly annoying. So, I mean, you simply just turn the power off or the lights off, and then the whole vest is still on, but you can't see it. So not only am I a little bit more incognito, it's not annoying me because it's not reflecting off my glasses. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and move into the positives. And the first positive is, this thing is warm. When you crank this thing on, you get hot, and you get hot quick. Now I have used this like this. I have used this over a hoodie. I have used this under my rain jacket because we've had some very cool, cold, rainy days. And I generally start with it on high to warm me up. And then I've always ended up with it on low or completely off. So once it heats up, it does heat up really, really nicely, and I have stayed toasty warm. So in these colder months that we have down the line, you know, teens and 20s, it's going to keep me nice and toasty. And I feel like if the jacket works half as good as this to keep me warm, I will be nice and toasty in the jacket as well. But using this as a base layer, I've actually been so hot where it's been raining and I've had my rain jacket opened up because I got too hot with the jacket. And I mean, a rain jacket is weatherproof, so it's keeping all of my radiant heat in. So I definitely should have started and stayed on low as opposed to started on high and tried to switch down. But there have been times I got so hot that I had to completely open my rain jacket, open the pit vents on my rain jacket, and just try to vent myself out because I got so warm. So this thing, it does work. It does keep you nice and hot and warm. So if you run cold as a person, this is definitely going to keep you hot and toasty. And I've kind of already said this, but it's very warm even turned off. This is an insulated puffer vest. Again, I believe this is a synthetic liner, but there are plenty of synthetic liners that keep you plenty warm. One of my favorite vests is a synthetic line, and it keeps me really, really warm. Actually, my favorite vest and my favorite down jacket or puffer jacket they're both synthetic, and they both keep me incredibly warm. So this vest even turned off when it was like in the mid to high 40s, I was still warm with the vest over sweatshirt walking Duke in the mornings before the sun came up. So there's no sun heating me up, and I was still plenty warm and comfortable even without turning the vest on. And it fits pretty true to size. This is a medium. I am about 5'9", about 180 pounds, and I feel like this fits me really well. It fits me just about all of my other puffer vests that are all size mediums. And I feel like it's very comfortable to wear, other than the fact that I think it's a little bit heavy even without the battery bank. But I've worn this all day long at work, and I felt pretty comfortable in it, and I think it runs pretty true to size. But all in all said and done, do I think that the iHood heated vest is worth your $139 USD? And honestly, no, I do not think that this vest is worth $139 USD, at least not the way it is designed right now. If they remove the hood, or remove some of the weight, maybe put that battery bank in the back so it kind of centers the way the weight of the vest pulls you, I think it might help to get me there. But you can get like a North Face thermal ball for $100 if you can get them at the outlet store, up to, I think they sell them for like 180 bucks, but you can regularly find them for about $150. So for $10 more, you can just get a North Face thermal ball that I think works just as well as this does. I mean, if you're wearing that as a base layer, I've never been super cold in it. I've always felt like the North Face thermal ball has been a great base layer for me, or a mid layer. I've worn it in a lot of the same situations I've worn this, and it doesn't heat up, and I've still been pretty good. If you are a colder running person, then maybe the heated vest would be for you. But at that price point, for $139, I think there are definitely some better options right in that level playing field there that are definitely where your money would be better spent. So honestly, if you're looking at the iHood, If you run really cold, I'd say maybe give it a shot. But if you're like me, where you're kind of middle of the road, average Joe, I think your money would be better spent on something like a North Face thermoball, or you can even get like an Eddie Bauer down vest. They're actually really, really nice too. I think I got one for 80 bucks, and I still have it. It's great. It keeps me nice and warm. Not quite as warm as my thermoball, but it's still a pretty nice vest. So I mean, hit up an Eddie Bauer outlet. They have a couple different versions of some of their vests. You get them for like 50 to 80 bucks. You can probably get a North Face thermoball for $100 to $150. So I think that your money would be better spent elsewhere. It's an okay vest. I'm not gonna say it's a terrible vest. I've definitely had products that were way worse than this, but I don't think at that price point it's worth your money. I think your money could be better spent someplace else. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.